Hey y'all, Narimatsu here, and I'm doing a quick lesson on some riffs and ideas I like to use when I'm doing like a slow New Orleans style blues. I'm going to play through them first here, and then I'll do an overhead view for the lesson portion. All right, so that first one is one of my favorites. I really think it's so versatile. It can be used as an intro, as an outro. It sounds good at slow tempos. It sounds good at fast tempos. So I think it's an absolute must-have in your blues arsenal. So essentially what's happening, I'm playing this over a C, like a C7. C, E, G, B flat. And so it starts off, the left hand's gonna play the B flat, which is the minor 7. And my right hand's gonna go from E flat and G flat, slide up to E and G, and then play the C. And then back down to the G. And then what's gonna happen is that these three notes here are just going to be moving down chromatically. So the left hand goes to the A, the E flat, and the G flat. The A flat, the D, and the F. And then the G, C, and E to your C chord inversion here. But that pattern, what comes in between it, up to the C, up to the C. And you can end it in a variety of ways, because you're just ending, you want to focus on ending on that C. This next one's almost more of like a texture thing, but I got it from, I first heard it via the great late piano player George Winston, who I actually met in concert. And he suggested that I go to listen to James Booker. And so huge thank you to George Winston for turning me on to I think, the greatest piano player to ever come out of New Orleans, and probably the greatest blues piano player of all time. But this sort of sound, this kind of like rumbling crescendo into your chord. And at first it feels really weird to do, because it almost feels like you're playing nonsense in order to land somewhere clean. Really what's happening is my left hand is going, I'm doing like octaves chromatically up to what my eventual chord tone is. And my right hand is kind of like, I'm sort of rolling down some notes. And the thing is, I'm not always playing the same notes every time. Depending on how I play it or what chord I'm on. Like that really, if I break it down really slow, I was playing kind of random stuff there. But the most important thing is the destination, because if you end cleanly on something like that, then something as, random and dirty essentially can sound really good. It contextualizes it, right? And so when you're playing slow blues, sometimes you want that chord to hit really hard, right? So I'm just like really rolling down some of the notes of the chord, right? Like for example, just to give you like a really concrete example, I might go C, B flat, A, G, E flat, E, C. And it's not really like meticulously timed with the left hand, except for landing on that E flat, E, C. So try it out. It's a little weird to get used to at first, but eventually if you fiddle with it, you can find your own pathway through, and that's how they get that really big. They're, playing some notes in and out of the scale, but they're landing on the chord in time. This next one's a little more straightforward. This one. So if we're over like a C7, you start on the 5, the G. Then I'm rolling E flat, D, C, G. And then I might slide my thumb from E flat to E up to the C. Or like that. E flat and G together, slide my third finger to the E, and then down to the C. So I'm going from the 5, and then we're rolling down the minor third, the second, the 1, back to the 5. And then I'm resolving it on that C7 chord. If I were to do it over the F, it would be the 5, that's C. Then I'm rolling down minor third, which is A flat, second, which is G, 1, which is F, and then maybe that A flat to A to F. That's a real New Orleans-y kind of sound, that rolling. You hear that in Professor Longhair, you hear that in Dr. John, James Booker, all the greats. So this last one is really just like a boogie woogie riff that I really like the harmony in. So real slow, G, and then I roll from G, A flat to A, C, D, C, and then G flat and E flat, C, G and D, to C, and then E flat, G flat, up to E and G, and C. Actually, forget that other C that I mentioned. It's a really good riff for like the end of your phrase, right? It's a good like concluding riff. So one last time.